This process will be to perform a Kopkit change on this PulsaPro 680 pump. Remember to always adhere to site safety regulations and wear all appropriate safety equipment. Before working on any PulsaFeeder pump, please be sure to lock out, tag out your motor, relieve the pressure in your system, and drain all suction and discharge lines before performing any work. To perform a Kopkit change on this pump, we are going to remove the suction and discharge valves of this pump as well as the reagent head of this pump. And that way we can achieve changing out the diaphragm as well as the valving and the Teflon or Viton O-rings. We will begin this process by removing the suction and discharge valves at this time. I'll continue this process and we will go from there. With my valving now removed, I can take apart my valve assemblies and I can inspect the valve ball, the valve seat, and the valve guide to make sure there's no damage to any of the surfaces. And I can remove my Teflon, in this case, O-rings, and replace them with new ones from the Kopkit. Now that I have 6 of my 8 bolts out from my pump head, what I want to do is put a capture tray underneath the pump so that I can capture any of the oil that is between the diaphragm and the dish inside of the pump head. So I'm going to leave these 2 top bolts in, then I'm going to loosen them slightly so that I can tip the pump head out, and any of that oil that's in the hydraulic side of the pump will be expelled and it will travel into the dish here. Once that's completed, I can completely remove these bolts and remove my pump head, exposing the diaphragm and the dish plate. There we go. So there's my diaphragm. Now I can look at that for any signs of wear or damage, and I can also clean my dish plate, and I can test my makeup valve to make sure everything is working well and clean and there is no obstructions inside which would cause any damage to the pump. Okay, I've now removed the diaphragm. I've cleaned up my reagent head so it's ready for a new diaphragm. I've made sure my dish plate is good. I've got my Kopkit parts pulled out of the packaging and I'm ready to put everything back together. So I'm going to start with my diaphragm. I'm going to set it inside, and then I'm going to bolt this down so that that's ready to go. Then I will take my O-rings for both of my valves. I'll put the new ones in. I will complete this process with both of these valves, and then I will be ready to go with the second one and put this all back together. Okay, I'm just finishing the tightening up of my head bolts. I'm putting in the last one. Then I will go ahead and torque these down per the torque specifications in the IOM so that the reagent head is back in place and torqued properly. The next step will be to reassemble my connection assemblies and my valving. Please take note that there is a directional arrow on your valves, and you're going to want to make sure that when you reassemble your pump that your valve arrows are facing in the direction of flow, in this case from suction to discharge. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put these assemblies back together and I'm going to torque them down accordingly. Okay, so we've now put our reagent head back on and torqued the bolts, and now the suction and the discharge valving is all reassembled and torqued to specs. So this pump is ready to be reprimed. All we want to do now is remove our lockout tagout so we can run our motor, and we're ready to begin priming. That is how you replace a Kopkit on a PulsaPro 680 pump.